Warrior, just based on what we can see on our screens right now. You might not be able to see it on your screen just yet. You will do soon, but what we can see is there's there we go. So you guys can see from the mulligan, this is likely going to be that on-curve mid-range Patron Warrior that we tend to see now, and it's going to be the Face Shaman from Boar Control.
It's a very interesting matchup, actually. I think typically Face Shaman can win this game quite comfortably if they can get the damage nice and early, of course. Same with most matchups. But if the Patrons can get out nice and early as well, and they can get a board presence, they can definitely put a lot of pressure into this Face Shaman. So it'll be interesting to see kind of if the Patron does come out. And we've got the camera back.
I'm so glad Boar Control's camera's back this week, because he always gives the most fun reactions, I think, out of most players.
Him and Hello Leroy, I think, tied.
Yeah.
I think
The deal with it shades from Hello Leroy.
This is an easy choice for Boar Control. Instant live tap right there. This is probably the first, if not second best hero power you can get. It's a toss-up between that and the Druid hero. Hunter hero power. I actually prefer live tap because it allows you to search for more answers.
Especially against this Patron deck, which does have so much drawing ability. To be able to counteract that with the Warlock ability is fantastic.
So you just drop Ghoul here, right? Yeah. I think that you had the choice between Armorsmith and Ghoul, but dropping the Ghoul early on, it makes a lot of sense.
And you kind of want to save the Armorsmith as well for when you're doing combos with things. You want to get that million armor that you get basically for free when you're proccing your Patrons.
That's one of the win conditions of this Patron Warrior deck. It's one of the ways you can out yourself from getting burst down by that Shaman is getting the huge AoE combos and the armor stacking you can get from those Patrons and the Whirlwinds. Boar Control's got a couple of choices here. I think you could have either rock bited and just gone for the kill on the unstable Ghoul, and I think what he did here was also very good.
So now, a Frothing Berserker on this board is actually quite nice because you're guaranteed some extra kind of damage after the Ghoul is destroyed. But there is an answer, on the other hand.
2 answers, for sure. But I think you either drop the Acolyte and search for more, or you drop the Frothing Berserker to try and apply pressure. Mysterious has to think about what he wants to play around here. And I like this as well. He just goes straight in with that Frothing Berserker.
And he's going to be able to get a couple of free damage on it as well very early on, but obviously, as we can see, there are some answers in hand here for Boar Control. He's only got 2 mana to work with here.
Got the coin, though.
That's the good thing. That's what you want to be doing as this warrior. You want to be making this Shaman provide answers, really. Making them answer the board and not let them kind of get away with just getting free early damage. So it's been a nice opening hand for Mysterious, actually.
Yeah, definitely. You can see that's a 9. A 9 damage Frothing Berserker. But I like this from Boar Control because he knows that there's very few ways that he's going to be able to push this Frothing Berserker through both of these feral spirits here. We know that there's the Fiery War Axe. We know that there's the Death's Bite in hand for Mysterious. But I just say set up the Death's Bite, and you're going to have to push that Frothing Berserker through, right, to deal with the 2/3s.
The key thing will be whether he does get some Patrons and the means of expanding the Patrons on the board as well. I think that's the way he's going to win this matchup, really.
I really like the Death Bite here as opposed to the Fiery War Axe, because you are playing into that win condition in the sense that you're hoping you draw Patrons at some point. And then you can spam the board and try and build up some armor with that Armorsmith. But, you know, like you said, he's already stopped huge amounts of damage to face in the early sort of portion of this game. Do you just Earthshock this? I mean, I'm kind of interested as to your theory. I think maybe you could Ancestral Knowledge, but you really want to play Doomhammer next turn.
I mean, what else are you going to save that Earthshock for is the real question. I mean, would you use it on a Patron maybe? Or an Armorsmith? There's not really any taunts that you're going to kind of try and get around, apart from Unstable Ghoul, perhaps.
I think one way to think of it as well, though, is you have this 1/1. You're against Patron. That's not going to survive anything in a Patron deck.
Exactly,
it all deals 1 damage, so it's kind of like that 1/1. That's about as much value as you're going to be able to get out of that card anyway. So,
and the Armorsmith comes down.
Proc the axe on this one, so going to get a little bit of armor and obviously the card draw as well.
That's fine though, because you can't afford to wait around. You know, you can't afford to sit there and say, I'm going to wait for my Patron to make this work. You're getting card draw, you're getting a little bit of armor, and sometimes that 2 health that the armor provides in that situation can be all the difference. So now Boar Control has a choice. He kind of, I think he avoided Ancestral Knowledge, so he could Doomhammer this turn, because the earlier you get the Doomhammer out, the better.
I mean, it's not that threatening of a board, so a Doomhammer here isn't too bad.
Do you just Doomhammer the Acolyte of Pain, then I can Doomhammer Face?
That's the question, really. That's what I'd be debating in my head. Am I willing to give him an extra card if he's got another Whirlwind kind of ability?
I think I would just take out the Acolyte, because the likelihood is he's going to be able to proc that for extra card draw, so you just want to get rid of that. I think that kind of adds into why it was such a wise play as well to get that Armor Smith low, because you cannot afford to allow him to build up a lot of armor. When in the eyes of ball control right now, armor is your worst enemy, so you've got to make sure that can't be a massive factor that's going to come into play, really.
You can just Earthshock this. Oh, he's got 10 damage just in hand for 1 mana next turn with the Rockbiter weapon.
I think that kind of adds into why it was such a wise play as well to get that Armor Smith low, because you cannot afford to allow him to build up a lot of armor. When in the eyes of ball control right now, armor is your worst enemy, so you've got to make sure that can't be a massive factor that's going to come into play, really.
You can just Earthshock this Frothing Berserker now, right? Just avoid...
The question is, do you want to save the Earthshock for one of the patrons later?
There's no point. If he floods the board with patrons, you've already lost.
There's not... Yeah, you're not going to stop them.
Exactly.
I did say earlier, perhaps if you put only 2 patrons on the board, sometimes you do see it, just that they only gather the extra patron, then maybe you'd save it, but otherwise, if they've, like you said, if they've got a full board, it's going to be probably game over, unless you've already got enough face damage in by that point, of course.
So he is still going for the board control play here. Yeah, no, the pun from board control. Not like we've heard that one before. So yeah, he's still going for the board control play here, just to make sure he's removing all potential threats. I think the idea from board control here is he wants to try and build up as best of a board as possible before he then starts to apply as much damage to face. He hasn't used any of his burn spells to clear the board yet, right? He's just been using his face and using his own minions. So he's going to draw into those spells at some point.
And as well, considering you've still got that 10 damage combo in hand, so realistically there's only actually 11 HP that he needs to get through on. I mean, obviously not including armor up, but that's not that tall of an order for a face shaman. So,
and he's got more ability there with the Abusive Sergeant off the top.
Another double Rockbiter, you can see Ball Control's face.
Oh my goodness.
He's counting it. That's 20. No, it's not quite lethal, is it? I think it's 20. That's 21 damage.
16 damage in one go, plus the 4. Yeah, and he doesn't want to give away he's got double Rockbiter, right? But he is probably... I imagine he's going to Lightning Bolt and just go,
He's kind of just prepping it for next turn.
Take out the Big Game Hunter, I think, is a wise move as well. Just keep as much minions alive, put as much pressure in. Yeah, I'm not sure there's much of an answer here for Mysterious either.
Even the only taunt in the deck, there's, some run Dread Corsair and some run, obviously they still run the Unstable Ghoul, but even Dread Corsair and Unstable Ghoul don't save him here.
Someone's late to the party. It's Grim Patron. He's arrived, but no one wants him anymore.
He's only got 1 proc, right? He's only got the Whirlwind in this situation. The Whirlwind deals with 2 minions.
In theory, you can survive this turn on the ground so he doesn't draw anything good, but you'd have to not play the Patron to survive it. Because you can execute and then armor up, and you would have just... Oh no, because Leponome, never mind.
Yeah. Double Rockbiter, Leponome, and then Ball Control.
Even with the Leponome.
The thumbs up, he knows he's got it.
There's literally nothing.
And this is going to hurt. It always hurts to see the double Rockbiter come out, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's really great to get that in the top half of your deck as well. It doesn't even give him the opportunity to throw that 8 damage to face. And that was a perfect draw from the face shaman, and really well played by Ball Control as well, because not everyone would make those kind of decisions to control the board. You know, he was really on top of controlling that board, especially those 2 Frothing Berserkers that came out. And I think, interestingly enough, it's because of the way Patron plays when they don't have the patrons as a threat early on, especially turn 5. You, as a face shaman, know that you're actually not going to be dealing with that many minions on board. So you actually yourself are going to be running against one of the only decks. If they don't have patrons, you actually can have board superiority, because you do run a fair amount of low-cost early game minions, a little bit like a zoo. So why not control the board? Because you always know that it's going to benefit you in the long run, and really well played by Ball Control.
And that is the damage that Face Shaman can do, really. We saw last week when Sottle brought it, he just wasn't drawing the cards, and it really didn't look as strong as Face Shaman did there.
it's a bit like Druid. If you don't draw Wild Growth for turn 2, you're not a good Druid player. If you don't have Doomhammer on turn 5, you're not a good Face Shaman player.
It was a good matchup.
Yeah.
It's always good against the Patron, especially if they don't get the tools to get those Patrons out. So a nice early win. He'll be happy to get a quick win in there as well.
Yeah, he certainly will, and I'm curious to see what decks they bring to this next one. Let's take a look at the decks that these guys are going to be bringing, as obviously we've just seen that victory with the Shaman, and now I can tell you the bans actually. It was a Warrior banned away from Boar Control and a Warlock banned away from Mysterious. So the remaining decks are going to be Warlock and Druid remaining for Boar Control, and then still Druid, Paladin, and Warrior left for Mysterious.
So if we're going to take this from what they've run usually, I imagine that's banning Boar Control's Patron Warrior, and that's probably the Reno lock being banned away from Mysterious, just based on what we've seen these guys bring before. So we can hedge our bets on that one.
I think it's a fair assumption.
Considering that Boar Control's bought a Patron Warrior every single week so far, then we can imagine that's another Patron Warrior being brought.
So we do see the Mal'Ganis in Boar Control's Warlock here, so it could be a Demon lock.
This is interesting because I know Boar Control was very big fan of the Demon Lock when it was popular last year, but again this could be that mid-range Druid, mid-range Warlock that Ness and him put together for I-57. It could be Reno Lock, but it looks like it's going to be the Ramp Druid from Mysterious. Just based on the fact that we saw the Ancient of War, I would hedge my bets.
Wow, and the turn 1 Zombie Chow. I mean,
what more can you ask for?
We could saw a little fist pump there, but I mean, Mysterious does have the Innovate and the Wild Growth. He has got the tools there, especially if you say it is Ramp as well. We can see the Mind Control tech. I know some combo Druids have been running that recently, but we'll probably think he is going to bring Ramp after he did draw it last time. Is he going to coin out the Wild Growth?
I find that really interesting, Munchables, because usually you'd only do that if you had a Shade to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of brings the question now as what do you play on your turn 3, I suppose, because I mean you've got the Mind Control tech in hand, but you realistically you don't want to play that without the Battle Cry coming out. So now it's kind of hero power or bust unless you use this Innovates.
For what? Okay, you just play Mind Control tech on curve, but how worried are you that this is Zoo now? You've seen that Dark Peddler just running the Zombie Chows. And actually, I can tell you from this lineup here, this looks like Ness's and Boar Control's mid-range Warlock.
I mean, to be fair, he has put an MCT on the board that does deal with both of these.
Yeah,
he's got no easy way of dealing with it.
Exactly, it does make a lot of sense. I guess you hope that this goes on to your Zombie Chow.
Yeah, for sure.
He's basically treating that MCT as a Shade. I think he said, okay, usually you'd play, a 2-2 Shade that's under Stealth. I'm just going to play a 3-3 MCT. Yes, okay, it's not going to get value in there. It's going to build up more, but it can definitely deal with this board.
He's got the Coin Emperor next to, the Innovate Emperor next turn. He's also got 4 drops that can be used to clear the board.
And we saw how deadly last week Innovate Emperor can be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst target as well.
So now I suppose you just kill the Chow, get the heal off.
You can even swipe as well because it deals with the imp. No, he's going to go.
Swipe maybe overkill?
Yeah, I think probably a little bit.
That.
Yeah.
Play out the Emperor. So that's going to get some nice reduction, and as well, reduction on the Savage Roar, which could come in to be crucial.
Oh, it's not Ramp Druid,
on.
It's actually Combo Druid this time.
I know. I was about to say because of the Savage Roar, it probably is a combo. Well, it is a combo. If he's using the Savage Roar, that is the combo. You might have noticed that Boar Control was just jotting some notes down when he saw Emperor Thracian dropping onto the board, and these players do make notes. They like to know what's in the opposition deck in case they do have to face them again.
Yeah, so I know that some Combo Druids do run 1 Ancient of War.
Your Combo Druid
My
does.
Combo Druid does, for instance.
Sure.
But I just assumed, given what we saw last week, it could have been the Ramp Druid. But now we know it is just
so
that
he's
Combo
learned
Druid.
his lesson.
He
Mysterious
has, yes.
He said, I'm not letting that happen again. I'm not going to be in the situation where I have to queue a Ramp Druid into a Ruddy Freeze Mage.
So Boar Control's been fairly unlucky now. He's got a really great curve moving on from this. Oh, wow. That's an aggressive play. I guess you just want to get something onto board, right?
I'm not really surprised. He's got a Force of Nature and a Savage Roar in hand for 8 mana. He just wants to get this damage in nice and early. He's probably thinking this is maybe a Reno lock or a Demon lock. And you're going to be worried about them healing back up for sure.
Yeah, nice Sludge Belcher, though. He's going to get 6 health also. This could be a swipe target now.
Ancient of War, there we go.
Yeah.
He is running it.
Yeah, it was in his first mulligan. I saw one of his cards in his first mulligan before he disposed of it. I think it's a decent swipe here.
Yeah, I mean, you get rid of the imp, obviously. You can trade in onto this one as well. It's going to be able to deal with, and obviously you can kill the taunt, but there's not many turns where you kill the Sledge Belcher and you can't kill the taunt as well.
It's at what point Boar Control is worried about the combo. Like, when does he start to heal back up? Does he now just drop one of these heal bots? Or is he going to be looking at Sylvanas or
Sylvanas is good, I'd say, because then if there is the Ancient of Law, you can at least steal the 2-3. It does really well into Ancient of War, which is obviously going to be the logical next play for Mysterious.
I think, using the Ancient of War here, and well, obviously it would give. Oh yeah, you can't even do it. Maybe unless you use it as like a 10-5.
Yeah, if I were him, I think that this is the better play, going for the Druid of the Claw.
Yep.
If I didn't draw the Druid of the Claw, I would have even been tempted to use the Force of Nature to clear Sylvanas.
If he goes face with this Druid of the Claw, he gets 7 damage with his hero power as well, puts him down to 11. He could then heal bot back up to 19. Technically, he would still be in combo range.
Yeah, he's going
depending on how many minions are cleared. And it would only be the 1, so yeah, I think this is a nice aggressive play. It really makes a statement. I mean, Ball Control is probably going to think, okay, maybe one of those cards that was reduced cost by the Emperor is probably a Savage Rot or a Force of Nature.
So he's got 14 damage just from hand. Ball Control is going to clear that 4-4, obviously, and you've got 2 plus. With the heal bot, that would put him 1 off lethal.
It would.
You have to go for the heal bot, right? I don't even know if the... Actually, no, the Defender of Argus could save you as well.
It's whether he taps, then drops the heal bot.
I wouldn't risk it.
He'll be counting it.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're considering playing the heal bot, you don't want to tap it anyway. Just like...
I think against Druid, you're always kind of counting that combo, aren't you?
So many.
I mean, to be worried about combo at turn 8 is always a frustrating thing against Druid.
It is, for sure.
But the fact that we have seen the Emperor, he is going to know that there is the possibility he's going to have a reduced combo.
He's even going to go for the silence just to get something on the board here, which I think's fair enough, to be honest.
He's going to be able to kill that minion as well.
Oh, the Innovate.
That's lethal.
That's lethal.
Yeah, that's
the Innovate.
lethal. Yes,
that's
is
an Unreal
lethal.
top deck.
Because that's 19 damage exactly with the Innovate hero power.
It is, yep. Wow. What a fantastic top deck there.
Well, there we go. So that is the power of Combo Druid right before your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Just going to swing in, and then 3 remaining. Going to be able to innovate hero power. And that's going to be the Warlock finished off. Look at Ball Control's face. He cannot believe his eyes.
Sorry, if you can lip read, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologise.
The only card out of the rest of his deck, because he'd already used one of his innovates. Wow.
It was about a 1 in 22 chance or something like that. It was pretty good. Or yeah, about that. He definitely pulled a fantastic top deck out of the bag there.
I've got to say, Ball Control's reaction to that mirrors my reaction every time I lose to a combo druid when I'm on like 20-something HP. I'm like, is this for real? Like, are you kidding me? But yeah, it's definitely an unfortunate loss for Ball Control. I feel like maybe the odds were kind of stacked against him on that one.
I mean, if that Innovate didn't come out, I think that game was probably Ball Control's. He had the healing. He had all the tools.
He had a fantastic curve as well.
He did, yeah. The issue was that I know that deck runs things like Imp Gang Boss. It runs Abusive Sergeants. If he'd drawn some more of his early game threats, then he could have controlled the board a little bit better. As a combo druid, you don't necessarily always control that board. You're usually laying down that defensive lineup until you can just get enough damage in face and able to run that combo in. The problem with Ball Control, he's running a mid-range lock that wasn't able to control the board in the early portion of the game, and that Innovate Emperor Therissian having such an impact yet again. I can't tell you the amount of games in the ESL Premiership that have been decided by a fantastic Emperor Therissian.
I don't think it's just the Premiership either.
Yeah,
I think if you can get the Emperor early and you've got part of your combo in hand, it's absolutely...
There was that game in the first week, Ball Control versus, I think it was Sottle or something like that, where he innovated, coined turn 1 hero Emperor Therissian, and he got punished with the execute.
Ball Control Hello Leroy week 1, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
But here we go. Let's take a look at the mulligan. It looks like Secret Paladin coming out from Mysterious.
And here we go.
See the Warlock once more from Ball Control. So we'll see how well this Warlock does. See if he can have a few better draws, because obviously we've already got the Gang Boss and Peddler here, which I would assume he'll keep on the mulligan. Do you mulligan the Emperor, or do you want to keep that?
Get rid of it.
I think you get rid of it. You want to try and get another Zombie Child like he did last game, but I think actually it was quite key last game when Mysterious dropped that Mind Control tech. It answered the board well. It gave him the board back. So, I mean, I know we were umming and ahhing about coining out that Wild Growth, but it was actually a good play. But onto this game. And let's see what Boar Control can do with his Warlock.
I think you just have to coin out the Peddler here. And then you just go for the 1-drop next turn, because you need to get some sort of threat on board. Okay, that's fine
My
as well.
only concern with coining out a Peddler is, what are you searching for from the 1-drop? If you've already got a board that you know you've got to deal with, then when you play that Peddler, you've got an idea of what you want to do. With such a naked board,
you do get punished if he has Noble Sacrifice, which we know he does, so you would have been punished for that.
I feel like as well, one thing you got to bear in mind is if they play Secret Keeper on turn 1, generally speaking, they're quite likely to have a secret to play it with.
Interesting.
It's not actually going to play it though.
No, and that's fair enough, because there is nothing on sort of hand to say, oh well, I don't really need that Noble Sacrifice just yet. And going for the coin Gang Boss here is, I think, actually, now that I think about it, a better decision, because it doesn't do so badly against him.
That was one thing I was going to bring up, is kind of, you play Peddler turn 1, what do you then have to follow up?
Yeah.
You're just preying on top decks to be able to actually use your turn effect.
Because I guess now that you've got the turn 3 Peddler and the 1-drop that you get from it, so it helps provide a bit of more control.
Yeah, from the side of the Paladin, from Mysterious's point of view, playing it the way he did with the Secret was actually better for Curve, but here we go.
Mortal Coil is good, I'd say, because you just immediately get rid of a 1/1 on the board and you get a card draw for it. Leper Gnome doesn't really do much on this board, because there you go. I think the Mortal Coil is the better decision.
Say, Peddler basically for me when I'm playing Zoo is just like, can I find one of the cards that I used to run in Zoo back a couple of expansions ago, like Mortal Core, like Soulfire sometimes.
I mean, actually, Corruption is actually one of the best cards that you can get now from.
I do like Corruption.
You would never ever run it in your deck, but just being able to have it and have that option of being like, actually, I don't really fancy dealing with this minion right now. I'm just going to pick that.
This isn't a bad consecration for for Mysterious. It's not an awful consecration. You could also Keeper of Alderman, your 2/2 Divine Shield into a 3/3 Divine Shield.
I think you could just muster for battle. You can clear board completely. You don't have to use your Consecrate, but he's actually going to go for it. I think I would have gone for muster for battle personally, because you can still clear board completely. You still have your Secret Keeper and your Shieldbot alive.
I guess you're worried about Hellfire though, right? Because this Warlock, at least I do think this Warlock runs Hellfire.
It also makes it a very awkward turn for Boar Control as well.
To see what he's going to do in this one as we go on to the turn of Mysterious here. We've got Production just dusting the desk in front of us quite distractingly.
What's happening right now?
But
as I was saying, it was an awkward turn, having to play the brand naked. I mean, if he had that board that he had previously, if he hadn't have opted to go for that Consecration, then he could have played the Defender of Argus into it, for example.
There are a couple of things that actually I think play into favour of Boar Control, though. Just going later on into this Secret Paladin matchup, he's got the Heal Bot, he's got the BGH, which can deal with that very pesky Mysterious Challenger that can get Avenge on top of it.
And 2 Arguses as well. I was going to say, he's got a lot of answers. I mean, it's similar to the last game, he's going to be taking a lot of damage, but there isn't as much of a there isn't really a combo element in the Secret Paladin, so he's not going to be worried about too much burst damage. He's going to be able to prepare for what's going to hit him, and his heal bots and Arguses should play a massive part in this game.
He really wants that Hellfire, I think, as well. The only benefit for Boar Control so far, and he feels so bad about playing this, that there's not a turn 6 challenger coming down from Mysterious. So
for once.
Exactly, for once.
For once, Mysterious Challenger Dr. 6 is not on board on turn 6.
I mean, he can still... It's not exactly the worst position to be in turn 6, even without the Challenger. He's got one heck of a board to have to deal with, and whether there's a Hellfire in deck or not, there's currently not one in hand, and that's the important thing here. One turn away from Boom. Do you maybe go for an Argus play here?
Yeah, potentially, depending what you get from this.
Now,
do you go for the Gadget and Jouster and just hope that you draw one of your bigger minions? No, okay. The Argent Squire does make a lot of sense too.
I just think Divine Shield is just too good of a tool, especially when you're against a class that is going to be using a lot of 1/1s. I think
there's the
great
Hellfire.
for trading. There it is.
Protects me.
There's a bit of a sigh of relief there from Boar Control as he sees that Hellfire come out.
If next turn he can deal with the Divine Shield and tag the Keeper of Alderman, he's going to be in a fantastic position with that Hellfire.
Because maybe you see the trade-in from the unshielded mini-bot maybe, and then you just see Muster for Battle come down, or something like that, just to make full effect of the Muster for Battle. I know it feels dirty trading in your naked 2/2 into their naked 2/2 once you've got that Divine Shield up, but I mean, Ball Control will be so happy to see that Hellfire. And I knew that he ran it in his deck because I think it is that mid-range Warlock, like I said, that they sort of brought to the I-57 tournament.
I mean, even playing the Hellfire, there is a lot of pressure coming here from Mysterious. And we know that Secret Paladin, he's still got both those Mysterious challenges if he's running 2. Most do run 2 now. If one of those comes off the top, it could really change the game.
For sure.
I mean, how often do you see it when you kind of get a control deck that does hold off a Secret Paladin for quite a while, and then suddenly Mysterious Challenger comes off the top, and it literally will win them the game. It's just a broken card. I'm going to be honest. It's crazy.
So that was Mysterious here, kind of playing around Hellfire.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very sensible play.
I'm not sure it's even kind of play. I think
it was
it's
definitely
straight up playing around Hellfire because, like, he actually has a pretty decent answer rate. If Hellfire comes out in the next couple of turns, he's going to be just about okay.
But I do like the boom here from Boar Control, just simply because he's now seen 2 Keeper of Aldermans. So there's unlikely anything apart from Blessing of Kings that will punish him going into this turn.
Sorry, go on.
The Shredder is just another minion that is going to survive Hellfire as well. So
the Death Rat will survive Hellfire.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he's got obviously the Creepers on board. It's whether he just leaves this boom now, just completely ignores it, and just drops a Shredder.
I think the trick with this boom now is going to be just basically trying to set up your opponent's board so that the Hellfire will do as much damage as is possible. Obviously, you can get rid of, just with the bots alone, you can get rid of the Divine Shield, get the Alderman down to 3.
Boar Control's like, what's going on here? Why is the smoke coming out?
But he's already seen 1 heal bot, so I can understand the aggression here. I mean, I think Ball Control can trade his minions and probably clear this board pretty effectively, but he's going to be finding himself at only 5 health.
Yeah, we know he's got another heal bot in deck. So Ball Control now, you trade the 1/1 into the Haunted Creeper, I assume.
See what it hits.
See what it hits. Then Avenge is going to proc, and hopefully that doesn't proc on something that's going to survive the Hellfire.
Yeah, bad target would be the Keeper of Alderman here, probably. But I mean, then you
that's
could
a good
use
target.
But that is a decent target, and the boom bot.
That's perfect.
And now
now you just have to trade the boom bot into the 3/4.
Yeah, just trade the boom bot into the 3/4. Hellfire, go face, and then I guess you can Defender of Argus, or you can Emperor Therissian. But Defender, no, you can't Emperor Therissian. So Defender of Argus is just the more sensible play.
Yep.
And that actually looks pretty fantastic, honestly, for Boar Control. He's got a whole lot of follow-up. It's going to be down to top decks right now. If he can get a challenger, I would say Mysterious is still in this. Obviously, there's only 5 HP to work with, so it's definitely not a 1 game, that's for sure. But I would say, I would argue that advantage is in favor.
Have we seen an owl yet from Mysterious in this Paladin deck?
Jiraxxus!
You face Jiraxxus.
Oh, that's perfect.
Depends how safe Boar Control feels this turn, right? Because he could just double Argus and use the Dark Bomb. No, he's going to go straight for it.
I think that's the right decision, completely.
Again, it was depending on how safe he felt, because 1 Blessing of Kings would get through that 8/5 on one of the 1/1s, and there is Jiraxxus. You face Jiraxxus, Illidan Lord of the Burning Legion.
It's beautiful.
I know, right?
Beautiful. But then, guys, I mean, like, how do you deal with this right now? He's only got a Shredder. I think that's pretty much game. I mean, you can deal with, obviously, Dr. Boom. Get a Taskmaster out, but
I just don't see a way for him to come back into this game, really. I mean, he's got 1, 3, 5, 8. Not quite lethal yet.
But
the fact he can just drop those 6/6 Infernals willy-nilly.
And then just throw down the Argus on them.
I love how there's double BGH in this Warlock deck as well.
And the Mortal Coil, just to deal with that 1/1. So you can basically Dark Bomb that Shredder, right? And you've got Mal'Ganis. Just play Mal'Ganis, right? Just play it. Yeah.
Just throw it on the board. He has to literally clear his board and take 9 damage to the face to be able to deal with it. So
I think you could just trade your face into the Shredder or into the 2/2. But I guess
are you worried about a Doomsayer?
You are, so that's why you wouldn't trade into the Shredder this turn. You'd let him do the trading for you.
Well, there's Mysterious Challenger. I did say it would win games, but I don't think
a bit about
he's
like 5 turns too late, right?
I don't think he's going to save it now. Again, Mysterious suffering. Someone being late to the party. This time it's Mysterious Challenger.
His 14th card.
It's like a spirit card, isn't it? And it's just it's denied him. Mysterious
like
is spirit card. Mysterious Challenger has denied him.
I guess I can run with that. I guess.
See, now
he's trying to work out here, do these secrets even keep me alive? With the Kabaji's mounts coming out, I don't think. No.
Even if he got Doomsayer, right, he was hoping for a taunt, because even if he got Doomsayer, you have to wait an entire turn if you proc your own Shredder for it to happen. Which is why Ball Control didn't trade his free face into the Shredder, because there's no way he wanted to give him a Doomsayer, lose his Mal'Ganis on the next turn to a Doomsayer. It was just you play around the RNG that you can play around. So it was just a more sensible decision for him to just clear that. Even though maybe economically, with the weapon that he had, obviously the 3 damage weapon, and plus the fact he doesn't take any damage with the Mal'Ganis, you would have thought, most people would have thought, oh, free trade into the Shredder. Well, given that stage of the game, Ball Control knew that a Doomsayer would wreck him, and he already had the advantage on board, so why bother taking that risk? So really well played from Ball Control. Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I love seeing Secret Paladin lose. It's just really satisfying, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I can relate to that feeling. But I think the most satisfying thing in that game was just the top deck Jiraxis. Just at the perfect moment. I was kind of saying, okay, maybe Warlock could come back in, and then I didn't realise it was going to be quite with that amount of force, but there you go. So we're going to be moving into the 4th game of this series, now 2-1 in favour of Boar Control. So he's looking to get his 3rd win on the board. Yeah, 3rd win on the board.
Put him up to 3-1.
So actually, he's getting very close to qualifying for playoffs if he can win this game. Let's take a look at the remaining decks. It is going to be Boar Control with a Druid. Are we thinking this is combo Druid?
Yeah.
I would have thought so. I think maybe all the players learnt their lesson when Mysterious brought Ramp Druid last week.
Oh, look at his rosy cheeks. Oh, Ball Control's got such rosy cheeks.
He's excited. I mean, after losing week 1, he's really propelled through this ladder, and I'm really impressed with him, actually.
Yeah, for sure. And the question now is, Mysterious, do you just go with that Paladin again, or do you roll with Warrior? I'm assuming it's Grim Patron Warrior, but I don't really...
We saw it already.
Both do pretty well into Druid, to be honest, so I think this is going to be a tough next few matches for Ball Control, because both Secret Paladin and Patron Warrior do pretty well into Druid.
Yeah, this is looking like it could be another comeback for Mysterious. We do know that it is Patron Warrior, because we saw it in
the first game. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I like that Patron Warrior is banned and he left the Druid up, by the way, because he knows that most of his lineup does well into Druid. Yeah. Even the Reno lock does pretty well into the Druid. So actually, he probably has a lineup that is favoured against the Druid here.
There are some pretty good cards. We see the Emperor Thracian coming off the top, so he will be able to innovate into that at some point. And like you said earlier, the amount of times in this Premiership we've seen the Emperor make such a huge difference. And actually having the big game Hunter in hand against Secret Paladin can be huge if it's used at the right time when you trade into those secrets in the Avenge.
I like this. He's got the Wrath, and I think Mysterious is looking here for the... Oh, wow, okay. He could double Secret or he could play the Knife Juggler. Double Secret would be safer because it puts his minion out of Wrath range, but then Knife Juggler you're playing into... I want to go for Muster for battle, or you can play the shielded mini-bot, which again is another safe play. But it does leave your Secret Keeper open to going down.
I like the double Secret, to be honest, because I mean you're setting yourself up for later.
The only problem in my eyes with double Secret is you are setting yourself up for a swipe. It could just be swiped straight out.
Yeah.
But then there are other tools of redemption. There's swipe, so the punish doesn't happen, but the Emperor will be dropped.
Okay, that's
nothing
on turn 4.
It's early, but it's not the greatest Emperor, right? I mean, you're getting less mana on Swipe and Wrath, but realistically, you want it on the combo, right?
This is so risky because you've just seen turn 2 Juggler come down. You've got to be afraid of the turn 3 Muster for battle. And now he can coin Competitive Spirit too, depending on... All Juggles going face! And now he can face tank it, trade Secret Keeper in, coin Competitive Spirit. Now, you are playing into Wrath, but do you take that risk as the Secret Paladin at this point?
Yeah, I think you do.
Because you automatically win the game if he doesn't have Wrath, right, basically. Sorry, if he doesn't have Swipe.
Yeah, I know what you meant. He doesn't know there's swipes there, but I think Competitive Spirit is a very wise play here, and you've just got to hope. But we know that the swipe is there, and that will answer.
That was a mistake.
Look at Ball Control, he's like, nah, no, I'm not taking that BM. I'm going to use the swipe right now.
Darnos Aspirant as well.
Yeah.
Interesting to see that being run.
I haven't seen that
in a few months, actually.
I haven't seen that in the Combo Druid in a while. So yeah, very interesting addition, but it does give him the ramp up that he could potentially need here. I guess the more interesting prospect is the fact that he doesn't actually have anything to ramp into right now, so he's completely relying on top decks.
Yeah, if he gets a Dr. Boom off the top, then that works fantastic. But there is no answer for this aspirant right now, and he's going to opt to go for some secrets rather than dropping his juggler, which would just die to the aspirant. Who needs Mysterious Challenger when you've just got all the secrets in your hand?
Exactly. I guess you can Wrath for 1 on this Divine Shield, but... So you Wrath for 1 for the draw on the Divine Shield. Okay, he's going to proc the Noble Sacrifice right now. And then you just Druid of the Claw, I suppose.
Druid of the Claw is a fairly solid top deck as well.
Yeah.
He was looking for one of his high-end minions in a minute. It's a 5 to 7 is the average kind of.
My only issue with this play is you keep the Divine Shield and it gets the Avenged Divine Shield. So do you play Druid of Claw and trade in?
This is the correct. I mean, like, you get rid of your Mana Crystal and you lose your Druid of the Claw, which is actually a pretty big minion to lose.
It's either that or you play it in its 4/6 mode and then you just trade him with the 2/3 and then just accept that he might have to trade him with face along with the mini bot.
Yeah.
I don't like the aggressive trading.
Wait, don't you can trade now, right?
You don't want to do it first though, because then you can't.
You can, yeah. You lose an empty Mana Crystal.
Yeah. Oh, he panicked me then.
Oh no, he's going aggressive with it. See now.
So okay. I mean,
in my opinion, I think you should have Wrath for 1 and played the Druid of the Claw. That was just what I would have done, because you get rid of the Divine Shield and then you don't proc it when you don't have the options to do so. And I think he's been punished for it now. That's because you've lost that defensive barrier of a Druid for the Claw. Druid of the Claw with the better stats.
So obviously, as your Drake here, just for the card draw, Ancient War will be nice later on, and you can Wrath and Hero. No, you don't have the mana. What I'm talking about,
yeah.
So he's actually going to do it for the card draw by the looks.
That's fine.
Dr. 7 and an Ancient of War though. That's pretty nice to have in your hand.
It trades for. Basically he's saying you'll trade for free into this Azure Drake regardless.
Oh, the Dr. Boom on the other side now. We could have 2 doctors. Or 3 doctors, as I am now sat next to Dr. Kiernan Lowe after he passed medical school today. Congratulations!
Bravo, bravo.
I thought I'd drop it in just once.
I wasn't mentioning because I'm too embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
I know. You just living roots. This is a very easy turn for ball control. Just deal 2 damage, living roots. And it's looking okay for ball control right now, but he's going to face another Dr. Boom on the field on the turn of Mysterious. I think that's the most sensible play, but we know that ball control's got a 2-mana BGH in hand. Obviously Mysterious has no idea, but you've been looking at this card that he's been holding the entire game, so you're thinking it's BGH, Force of Nature or Savage Roar, right? And you're hoping it's just not the BGH.
I've got to say, the first things that come to mind when they're holding a card like that and they're a Druid is combo.
Yeah.
I don't know if like BGH will necessarily be a card that he's thought about. He might have just thought, okay, that's definitely combo, and not really considered other options.
So it's hard not to play Dr. Boom on turn 7. As the Boom bot hits for 4, always hits for 4 to face.
It's not that awful though, because realistically, you may not have wanted it to go into the enemy's Boom bots. Okay, that's not a bad trade for ball control at all, to be honest. Because now he can BGH and play Ancient of War all in the same turn.
Yep.
So here we go. Shade as well, actually, coming out.
Yeah, I still
kind of too late really for a useful Shade, but he's going to be able to throw it. In fact, he chooses to throw that outside of the Ancient of War.
It means he can hero power down the 1/1 slime and then just get 7 damage into face. Because he lost both of his Boom bots, so it makes more of a sensible decision, I guess, to get rid of that slime and just start applying the pressure. And once again, this Mysterious Challenger is nowhere to be seen for Mysterious.
Yeah, so now it's kind of... Well, I mean, he doesn't survive this turn, right? Because you just swing him with the Shade first.
It really depends what this Boom bot hits.
Yeah.
Not the right target. There you go. All done.
So that's done and dusted. He's going to be able to take this game and as well.
Is he?
Not quite. But you just use hero power.
Yeah, I was going to say the shit. As long as you wait and don't do the Shade first. Well, there we have it. Ball control.
Bada bing.
Going to take the series 3-1.
So very convincing win actually coming out from Ball Control, considering Mysterious has actually been one of our contenders that came in swinging and has been a major threat for a lot of other players. Ball Control pretty handedly taking that series in all honesty, and with a 3-1 victory, he is